Hi, this is Elliot Fishman, and welcome to, I think it's going to be our last Facebook Live of the year. Today is the 30th of December, tomorrow is the 31st, and tomorrow night is New Year's Eve, and will be 2022, which is the title of this talk. So I first do want to wish everybody a happy and healthy 2022, and it's been a long, almost 2 years now, 21 months of this COVID madness. You remember, I'm sure, if I bring up my talk from a year ago, entering 2021, I must have said something like, I'm telling you the vaccine is coming, thank God, we'll be getting it in early 2021, and life as we know it will get closer to normal. Well, as you know, we got the vaccine, and most of us, all of us, hopefully, have 3 doses. That's what you should have, two, and then the booster, right? So you should have three. Yet nothing has really changed, right? We're still wearing masks. Where's my mask? Here it is. By myself in my office. We're not traveling. All the usual things like that. Um, and as you know, right now we're with this new variant of COVID where just the numbers are just escalating up, and that's probably not going to change through the end of January if you look at the South African data. So the numbers will keep going up, up, up. Now again, numbers are always, a famous quote about numbers will say anything if you torture them. The good news is, one reason the numbers are much higher because we do more testing. If you don't do any testing, then you don't have to worry about how many people are positive because there's nobody positive. So that's the good news. We're doing a lot of testing, but the percent of people positive is much higher. And before, you really didn't know anybody. Most of us didn't know many people who had COVID. Now all of us know a lot of people, whether it's children or adults. The good news is if you're vaccinated, it's milder, and now it's 5 days. You have to quarantine, not 10 as of about 2 days ago. So it's a challenge for everybody. Most people, it's been said that 90+% of the people who are hospitalized are people who refuse to get vaccinated. So you need to get vaccinated. If you don't get vaccinated, you're a crazy person. I don't care if the religion, whatever else you think, government conspiracy, I would ignore that. None of that's true. You need a vaccine because for you, your children, your family, that's the only thing that will protect you. This latest strain is extremely contagious. It kind of is at the same level of the measles, right? Measles, one kid in the class has it, everybody has it. So it's really a challenge. So get vaccinated. So if you have the misfortune of testing positive, at least you're not going to get really sick. So that part is very, very important. Now, I do hope that when I do this talk at the end of 2022, right, 1 year from now, that we're not having this conversation again. And I'm sure at the end of 2021, I said to you that I hope we don't have this conversation in 2022, but here we are with the conversation. So I think I'll probably leave it at that and just say best wishes for a happy and healthy and prosperous new year. And I hope everyone is exceedingly careful, particularly over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Now I see John Biacchino is home today. Hey, John. And El Hassan Mohammed, say hi to him. I think one of the things that was new this year is I grew a beard, okay? One of the things also new was a lot of the work that Sarah and Lily have done on all of our platforms. So remember, you're watching us on Facebook. Many of you, 130,000, have signed up to watch us on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We have over 31,000 subscribers there, which is impressive. Millions of views. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Pinterest. We have a big following on Twitter. On Facebook, we have 244,000 followers, which dwarfs all of the other organizations put together. So we used to talk about likes, but some of you may know that Facebook, if you look at our page, you see the number of likes there, but it never changes because Facebook, for whatever reason, And I forgot the reason why. They were trying to make the point that likes were not a good thing, that some people would do crazy thing to get likes, and so the likes became kind of meaningless because people were playing the game of likes. So they got rid of the likes. I think they still leave it on the site. At least I could see it, but it never changes because you can't, no matter how many people, quote unquote, would like you, they're not counting it. So that doesn't really matter. In terms of CTisus, also, we know we have a lot of apps, 17 of them on the Apple Store, and our latest and greatest app on the lumbar spine, which is spectacular. We introduced it more than a year ago, but now it's been redone with tremendous new technology, usability, functionality. It's really a spectacular, spectacular app. It's been accepted at the Apple Store, but we decided to put it down that it would come out in 2022. So after the stroke of midnight, whatever Apple thinks is a good time, this will come out. So I think it's very, very, very important. Take a look at it. It's wonderfully done. There's an article on the same topic, Clear, Brookmeyer, and Honorect, published soon in Skeletal Radiology, probably within the month. So you can read a lot more about it there. So I think it's really good. We're working on new apps. Next week, you'll see the first, well, that's tomorrow, Saturday, there'll be a new quiz, first quiz of 2022. There'll be new teaching files. There'll be new pearls, all the things we do every month. And we're looking and doing some papers and statistics, trying to figure out what people like or dislike. And again, we always ask you for your comments, and we do get some comments, and we do follow them. But also we collect numbers. So not that we spy on you, but like, for example, on Facebook, do you like better when we put up a series of images with a diagnosis and like 4 or 6 pictures, or do you like a quiz question with a discussion and a video loop? We could do either. We do both. We're trying to figure out which one do people like better, which one do people go to more. So we are trying to make certain that we meet everyone's needs and expectations. It's sometimes a challenge for us because it's, one of the problems with the web and the way we do it is we maintain your privacy. So we don't know a lot about you, perhaps, and not always do we know what you're looking for or looking at. So whatever information that Apple or Google give us, or Facebook give us, then we use that information, and that's all the stuff you signed up for. So it's not really, we don't get anything really at all secretive. It's just ways of helping us. So, and helping us help you. But again, the best way for us to help you is for you to tell me, hey, this is what I want, this is what I would like to see, these are the lectures, these are the quizzes, this is the other content. We can do all of those things, and we plan on doing a lot more and doing things a little bit different and a little bit better, perhaps in 2022. So that is our goal. We also, it'll be interesting over time. I think people now I speak to are a little bit burnt out. So, we do. This is the first year I'm not running a meeting. So last year, you remember, in February, I ran my course for one day. This year, I decided not to do that because I think people are so overwhelmed and tired and frustrated and whatever other adjectives you want to use, that I decided not to do it. Now, when will we be in person? I did not make a plan because I was concerned that if any plan I made, nature would be able to change. So till we know that COVID is basically gone, I am not going to sign a contract with Disney or a contract in Nashville or a contract in Vegas. You can see the biggest of meetings, CES, which Computer Electronics Show, which is in Vegas starting next Monday, I think. That's usually hundreds of thousands of people, takes up all of Vegas. Every big company's there. Well, the meeting will go on, but it's now going to be remote again, just like it was last year. It was supposed to be in Vegas, but again, all the big companies, from the Microsoft to the Googles to GM, everyone who was going to be there, even the keynote speakers, basically said, nope, I'm going home. And so it's going to be another year of remoteness. And so it's a challenge. I think all of us know the challenge. All of us are working through it. And I think you have to a concern I have and many people have is that people are getting very frustrated and very sad and very depressed. So I think um, your health and well-being is the most critical thing. So if you are feeling very depressed, there's many resources online. I know like Hopkins has resources, maybe you like them, maybe you don't. But you want to make certain that you're not having any issues or any of your loved ones. I think it's very hard. People are apart. You know, you can see even people traveling now, even with this whole new vaccine, not vaccine, with this whole new strain, people still traveled over the holidays. They had plans. They were not changing their plans because no one knows what's going to happen next. And so let me do what I'm doing and let me hope for the best. All those people who went on the cruises, right? I never would go on a cruise. You got to be a crazy person to go on a cruise now. But the ships were full. Of course, the ships were full of people with COVID, but the ships went and set sail. So, you know, I think it's very hard for people to do nothing. It's very hard for people not to travel, not to see their friends, not to see their family, not to travel. I think it's really, really hard. I mean, even Larry David, who was joking at the beginning of COVID 2 years ago that he loved it. He didn't have to speak to people, he didn't have to go to dinner, all the things, which were again tongue in cheek. But even he talks about how getting back to some semblance of normal where he can go to a party and be unhappy. He can go to dinner and wish he wasn't there. All the things he doesn't do, he wishes he could do to be miserable, but at least he wishes he could do them. I did, by the way, sometimes it's inappropriate, but I did see the entire season of Larry David. I guess this was the 10th year or 11th year, which finished last Sunday night. Some of it's very, very funny. Some of it's in really bad taste, but that's typical Larry David. 10 episodes. The last one was 39 minutes. Most are around 30. So 10 times 30, 5 hours. So it's easily, if you're a binge watcher, you can easily watch it. Remember, don't go from 10 backwards. You got to start with number 1. A lot of the stuff makes no sense unless you go in order. Then it becomes very funny. And like at the end, the last 5 minutes of the last episode of season 10 covered everything that was covered in the first 9 episodes that was left hanging. So I had the solution. So it's the sheer brilliance of Larry David, who writes everything out like a painter, has the whole thing front to back, and then breaks it into 10 to kind of carry the whole thing along. So I think, if you get time to watch it. Someone told me also there's a show, I think, on HBO called Bleed, talking about small town hospitals. I don't know anything about it, but I was told that's also really good. I haven't watched much TV at all. I did watch a little bit of the Beatles, that documentary. It was pretty cool, but it's so slow. I basically got through like a couple hours worth, but I know. I know the end. The Beatles break up and they don't ever reunite. When you watch it, it makes Paul McCartney seem like an angel. I mean, you have Ringo who's drugged out. You have John Lennon who's on heroin, and you have George Harrison who'd rather be anywhere but there. So, and yet they managed to do Let It Be, and at the end of the day, who knows what would happen? I think if John Lennon wasn't shot, that's a big if. I think the Beatles would have gotten together. I think when you look at the video and you watch them being unhappy, they were 28 years old. It was a bunch of exhausted 8 years of working daily, everywhere, traveling. They were now very wealthy, and they were 28. Okay, so it's youth at its worst. Who knows? Who knows what would have happened if John Lennon wasn't killed? I remember him and Paul were back together, and Paul and McCartney and Lennon were the Beatles. I think Ringo would love, but both of them, he would have been back in a second. And I think George Harrison would have mumbled a lot, and if not, as John Lennon said, let's get Clapton. Okay, so it would have happened. But it's worthwhile watching, I think, but it's slow. I mean, don't watch it if you're tired. I watched it at night. You got to watch it maybe first thing in the morning so you're not too tired when you start falling asleep listening to it. Anyway, that's about the main things I have. I see there's no questions, but I know everyone's a little bit tired. Everyone is a little bit worn out. So I hope everyone hangs in there. I know you're not doing anything crazy for New Year's Eve, so watch the ball fall in the middle of nowhere or just go to sleep, and then wake up early and look for our newest app on the Apple Store. And with that, I want to wish everyone again a happy and healthy new year. You know, hang in there, and hopefully, we'll get rid of this plague during 2022. And with that, see you next year.